One of the things I loved about the film last night was watching a film with a focus, with this 4-year focus. And I wondered, you know, why it was useful to you, or if it was useful to you, to have like a sort of a part of his life, you know, not to tell the whole story, not to try and sort of, you know, broad strokes, but to have a part of your life and to inhabit Dylan when he was kind of creating himself.
Yeah. Well, this was a fascinating period of Bob Dylan's life because in some ways it's the least chronicled. This is the period of his life that has the least footage accompanying it, particularly 1961 and 1963. So I didn't choose what dates the movie set in, and you know, based on my age, I can only play within a certain range anyway. But this is a sort of a fascinating period because it's, as you said, when he actualized becoming Bob Dylan, and when he obviously made this sort of historic transition from folk music to rock and roll.
So I watched the film with my daughter Rosie, and she said to me afterwards, she said, watching your performance was like going to the circus, when you watch someone do something extraordinary, and then you forget that they're doing it.
Wow, what a compliment.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was a really nice way of putting it. So how did you get to that point, man? You know, how did you get to the point where your blood feels like Bob's blood, where your intonation feels more natural to you than Timothee's intonation?
Well, a lot of work, a lot of time studying all his music and studying the way he was.
And what was that journey like, man? Because I know that it helped that obviously lockdown happens. And
Yeah,
this kind
exactly.
of stop-start process. So did that mean you could give yourself to it?
Yeah, exactly. I have more time, you know. We were supposed to shoot it the summer of 2020, then there was the pandemic. Then we were supposed to shoot it the summer of 2023, so there was the actor strike. So there was a lot of time available to me to sink into all of this stuff, the way he was as a human, his guitar playing, all the books available about Bob, the books available about his contemporaries, about Joan Baez, about Paul Clayton, about that period of music. And just, you know, it became a curiosity at some point. It felt less like work and more just something that I was just deeply passionate and obsessed about.
And I could see that you would have to be obsessed,
yeah.
You know, particularly when you come to the live performance, because I didn't understand until I was watching the movie that you were doing all of this live.
Yeah, this is all live.
So what was that, man? Was that to get to that moment when you're ready to step out, even in front of a bunch of background artists, and do that to your own standards?
Yeah.
Which I believe are extremely high.
Yeah.
I mean, when do you feel ready? How do you know if you're ready?
I don't know if I ever was. There was either a tremendous lack of self-respect and no self-esteem, or the total opposite, an egomania or something. But I just felt, I just love this music, and I love the opportunity to get to do it live, particularly with the old microphones and the old theaters and the old reverb. And I love these original recordings, you know, like the Brandeis University recordings of Bob Dylan, you know, are some of the coolest songs he ever put out. So I just fancied getting the opportunity to do it myself.
Great. Well, it worked, man.
Yeah.
It worked.
Thank you.
Do you know, it worked so well. In the performance in the Gaslight Club, I think it was, and there was a lady that was along the aisle from me when we were watching it, and at the end of the performance, she started clapping as if she was in the audience.
Fantastic.
You know, and it was like, shit, man, no, we're watching a movie.
No way, she really did that?
Yeah, she really
amazing.
did that. It
amazing.
was insane, actually. We kind of shared a little look, and she was like, oh.
That's amazing.
In the moment.
Yeah, that's great.
And testament to the way that James shot it as well, I think. You know?
Yeah, totally. You feel really involved. You feel really present. I think. Yeah, I think.
I wanted to know how useful, you know, a director is. It feels like it must have been such a personal journey. What does James offer you on that journey? What's his value?
He offered me a masterful guiding hand because he had done this before with Joaquin Phoenix, Walk the Line. His trust, but also really his I'd say most of all just his prescience to see through the idea that this had to be factual and step-by-step recreations of how it was, you know, that we had major artistic license here, that the whole exercise was about artistic license.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, before we finish, I want to ask about this sort of ensemble cast, because, you know, as you were saying last night, we learned a lot about Bob, who can be quite opaque, it feels.
Right.
We learn a lot about him through the people around him. And I want to know, you know, what it was like to have Ed there and to have Elle there, and people that kept you in the world?
Yeah, well, they were all massively invested the way I was massively invested. So they were just ultra present and defensive of their characters in a sense, like very protective over all their characters, and in the perfect way. Everyone was in their own movie in a sense. So they were really instrumental in helping me go about what I was doing because they just brought life to it. You know, this wasn't some cushy project where people were showing up for the paycheck. Everybody was going extremely hard.
It looked, in the best way, it looked like hard work.
Yeah.
Because it's there on the screen.
Exactly.
So congratulations.
I appreciate it, man.